Welcome to the installation and maintenance video for the Touch and Mid-Air Framework, TAM. In this video, we will go over all the software that needs to be installed so that you can run the TAM Visualizer in your Windows platform. First, we will head over to the Visual Studio website. The link to all of the downloads will be in the description below and will also be in the documents for this software. Head over to the Community 2013 with Update 4. This is the Visual Studio version that we will be using for this software. Click on the Install Now button, and this will start the download for Visual Studio 2013. You can just click on the download once it's done if you're using a Chrome web browser. Otherwise, you can head over to your download folder and double click on the executable. This will launch a Visual Studio installation setup. Agree with the terms and license. If you want, you can join the Visual Studio Experience Improvement Program, or if you don't, just unselect that option and click Next. In here, make sure that all the features that you want to install are selected, then click Install. The installation will begin. While this happens, we can head over to the Qt website. The link is also in the description or in the documents. In the Qt website, you can head over to the Download tab and you can choose the community version. This will take you to a download page. You can click on the download button and the download will start. Once the download is done, you can head over to the Qt plugin for Visual Studio. The link is also in the description and in the documents. In here, you can go to the bottom of the screen and select the Visual Studio add-in 1.2.4 for Qt5. Once Visual Studio is done installing, you can click the Launch button. This will open the suite and you can either log in with a student credential or you can use the free trial. Now you can close Visual Studio and head over to your download folder and open the Qt setup. This launches the Qt installer. Select your installation folder, the version of Qt you want to install, accept the license terms and agreements, give a name to your folder where you want Qt to be installed, accept all of the prompts, and Qt will begin installing. Once Qt is done installing, just launch the Qt Creator once. You can now close the Qt Creator and head over to your Downloads folder once again. In your Downloads folder, you can now launch the Qt add-in for Visual Studio. Follow the prompts and accept the license agreements. This will begin the installation of the Qt Visual Studio 1.2.4 setup. Once the installation is completed, just click the Next button and Qt will be installed in your Visual Studio suite. Start your Visual Studio application to verify that the Qt plugin was installed correctly. Once Visual Studio is open, you can head over to the top left in the Qt5 tab. You can click this tab and then go to Qt Options. In Qt Options, you have two tabs. Select the Qt Versions tab. Select the Add button to add a Qt version. Head over to the location of your Qt installation. Head over to the version of Qt that you want to use, in this case 5.4. Select the MSBC 2013_64, which is for a 64-bit machine. Click OK, and then give a name to this Qt version that you have chosen. Head over to the folder in which you have downloaded the source code for the TAM Visualizer. You can find the TAM Visualizer Visual Studio or SLN file. You can open that file and that will start loading the solution for the TAM Visualizer. Allow a few minutes for Visual Studio to load all of the necessary files into memory. Once everything has been loaded, head over to Qt tab once again and go to the Qt project settings. Select the versions tab and then select the version that you loaded previously, in my case Qt 5.4. Click the OK button and then you can start building your solution. When you run your solution, the visualizer will start. This has been the installation of all the software necessary to run the TAM Visualizer. To test that your visualizer is working correctly, in your multi-touch screen, draw anywhere in the draw area. You are now ready to begin working with the Touch and Mid-Air Framework Visualizer. Thank you for watching.